Welcome to the Where Are We Now show. This show is about our community, music, social, posts, anything that we can talk about to make our community aware of the things that we're doing that we may not understand or we may be doing. With that said, welcome to the show. I'm Pat Rodriguez, your host for the night, and I'll be here for the rest of the night, and let's see what we got to talk about.
Police are marking a milestone. For the first time ever, the city has gone 101 days without a killing. Police announced that milestone on Twitter on Wednesday.
Yep. Well, let's talk about it today. What's next? We've been, I had a great conversation today. Wish I would have recorded it. I want to first say that if you want to comment on any of my pages, if you want to comment to anything that I've said to light the light bulb, or you said, hey, I don't agree with that, just comment on the video. It helps all of us out to see what you're thinking. And the reason why I want you to comment on the video instead of directly to me, it would almost be like preaching to the choir if you know what I'm saying, if you get where I'm coming from. You know, it's almost like preaching to the choir. Because you telling me the problem and I'm telling you what my issue is. Nobody's listening to me and you. So I want people to listen to the dialogue, period, so we can go over it online. Or you call me and we talk about it. You say, hey, let's go live with it. And if I say let's go live, let's people hear what you're saying. Conversation today: miseducation of education, and especially with the black woman. The rabbit hole runs deep. And a lot of people don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? There's a system in place to how can I say this? To make things the way they are between black people. Dialogues are opening between us because we have no idea that the unseen hand is actually working. I'm going to be the first to tell y'all. I am a cum laude special ed student. Sam Houston High School. I walked across the stage with all my counterparts, and most of them were retarded. I was in special ed my whole life, and at Sam Houston High School. And a lot of people don't know it because I never went to class. Yet, though, the blessing to that is I wasn't taught to go jump in the box at college and then somebody tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you got to think outside the box to be a great student. I never went to school, so I never went to college, so I was always already outside the box. I never was put in a box. I was always outside the box looking in, and things was much clearer to me. So a lot of my counterparts that went to school, they have like, the horse that had the visors on. The horse got the little visors on the side of his head. He can't see right or left. And I see a peripheral. I got peripheral vision. I got back door. I got third eye vision. I got behind me vision. So the conversation today was the unseen hand in our miseducation of a lot of our community is the black woman who thinks, okay, I got 3 education. I got 3 degrees. I got 2 degrees. I got 1 degree. I got associate's degree. And that is more common in our community now than anything else. And kudos. I mean, you got an education, you learn how to complete something, and you have the education. You know, you need a hand clap for that. But here's where the unseen hand comes in, because a lot of us don't see the unseen hand, hence the word unseen. You don't see the hand that is helping us. Now, me being a student, of a person myself, I couldn't hardly get loans to go to school. Now, I'm a black male, and I went to the military, and I completed the military. So I couldn't go to school, a lot of schools. I mean, they said they had GI Bill, but the GI Bill was very limited. I mean, you was going to probably get your books done. You're going to probably sit around in one class. you're gonna probably, you're gonna drop out before you get finished, and then you can't use it after 10 years. The GI Bill's out of there. You go. It's a wrap. And now, granted, they have other things. At that time, it was GI Bill. Now they have the other bills that come in, the post-war, the post-Trump, all the other stuff. That they have other things now. But you barely hear people using the GI Bill. I'm talking about the straight GI Bill. I'm not talking about the things they got in place now. Oh, there's got plenty of things in place now to help us go to school. Of course, for military people, of course, not for everybody, for military people. So I've been fortunate to know that I can go back to school and the military will assist me. But that's very few. How many brothers went to the military and did everything we did to get that honor? Not that many. So now let's take the focus off of that and put it on the people who can't get into school. The schools are constantly turning down young black males to go to school. It's harder for them to get into school. You can't tell me it's not. I believe that it is. I believe it's very hard to get into school as a young black male. And it's very easy for a woman to get into college, into school. Okay, now, most of y'all gonna say, well, how is that so? Well, let's just take food stamps for instance. Let's take food stamps, which is not education, but the woman with 3 kids, nowhere to live, ragged ass, whatever. She had 3 kids. The government is gonna step in and give her a place, give her food stamps, give everything she needs to sustain them kids, to make sure the kids are good, but you can't have a man in the house. Boom. Okay, so you can get the food stamps, but you can't have a man in the house. Now, we know that's been an ongoing thing for years. Any community you want to go to, you can find this happening. You don't have to be in the United States. You don't have to be in Texas. You can be anywhere. I'm sorry, I correct myself. You can be anywhere in the United States and you'll find this happening. LA, New York, Houston, it's going to be the same thing. Why would they want to educate the black men and in the first place? It doesn't make sense. We can incarcerate them. We need the men for incarcerated slavery. And let's educate the woman. Unseen hand. Let's educate the woman. Let's give her 3 degrees. So when that man come home from prison, guess who he got to live under? He got to live under the woman. Most guys getting out of jail got to call a woman and say, man, I got to be on your rent and you got to have a place for me to stay so I can come be my parole there. Yep, it happens like that. It happens like that. Very few have daddies that's sitting at home waiting for their son to come home. Very few. So they have a girlfriend or they have a mama, which are females. Who cares to disagree with that? Okay. So now when that happens, the paradigm shifts in the household. Even if you're on food stamps and you got the paradigm shift. The man wants to be a man, but he ain't paying no rent. She paying the rent with the money the government get her. She paying for all the food, and they just laying up. They just doing their little thing. Everybody happy until the day come when she say, "Nigga, you don't do nothing anyway." Then bow, there you go. Now you got the circle up on your left eye because he trying to prove himself to be a man, but he'll never do it. Now, not all of this is under the unseen hand. Some of this is psychologically put in women automatically. There's a family of, I won't say the name. I'm sorry. Every show I say, I'm not saying no names. But there's a family of females that I know that come from a long line of other females who taught them how to be on food stamps and do the system. And they to this day, it's still going. It's still going today. It's still going. The younger kids are now doing what the older kids, and I'm 51, so I'm not no shame in my game, and I've been playing around the streets since I was 15, 16 years old, and I've been saying this since then. So do the math. The miseducation is a woman think that the education really is what, let's get to that part, is what really makes them the woman, or the one or the one that you want to be with. This is a miseducation. Because what normally is happening on the unseen hand is we're going to educate your black woman. We're going to educate her. But we're going to stick $30,000, $60,000 on that debt plate for her. And as I've been told, they'll be knocking on a casket before they get all their money. Exactly. That's their plan, to keep you in debt. As long as you're in debt with the colleges, it goes on your credit. Now you're looking at lower credit scores, but more educated women. Educated women, lower credit scores. You can't go out and do what you want to do. And then most of us that with the education are not working in the field that you go to school in. Now, what I'm saying in that statement right there, if the shoe fit, they got a buy one, get one sale right here. If it don't fit, you know what I'm saying? Leave them on the shelf. Keep on walking. Some of y'all slipped through the cracks, and some of y'all got away with the loans. Some of y'all, got through with the loans, and some have. Not enough though. Because if you ask the average woman with a degree that's looking good and working good, she's gonna tell you, I'm still paying for my degrees. Which gonna keep those credit scores low. Which gonna keep that community in the lower income. Educated women in lower income areas is what the outcome is. That's the unseen hand. And so how can you go to school and get all this here and you're not doing better? You're not supposed to do better. You were supposed to get that, collect that debt, and go sit back down in the ghetto. A lot of people won't understand this. But we need an amen for some of this, okay? Now, they're not educating brothers at an alarming rate, but they are educating black women at an alarming rate. I know black women and their kids are getting social degree. Women and their daughters are getting social degree same time. But they don't see the unseen hand. Now, let's go further into the unseen hand. That black woman that has 2 kids or 3 kids and trying to go to school to get an education, to get in debt for the education, leave these 2 or 3 kids at home. Now, these kids are going to grow up under the latchkey amendment, which is they're going to have to take care of themselves because mama got to go to school and get the education to rack up the debt. Now, the kids at home now, they're raising themselves. All right. So the woman leaving to go get education is a hurt to the family already. Now we got the little youngster who wants to be a gangster because ain't nobody been there for him but the streets. Look it up. The streets recruit young dudes who their mom and daddy's not there, so they can be in gangs, and now they got a family full of niggas running around doing nothing, and that's their family. The females fall victim to some of the dudes smooth talking, or nowadays they just want to be strippers. So school ain't for them because I want to be like my mama. I ain't never see her, so I don't know what school was all for if she ain't gonna never be there. So now we got a large attendance of strippers now. And if somebody, please tell me if I'm wrong. But the miseducation is what it all boils down to, the unseen hand. And all that it plays in. The mama not being there for the kids, the daddy not there for the kids because the government won't give your mama money so she can go to school because you got an extra man in the house. All that is designed. All of it is designed for black people. So I'm asking myself this question. Well, pal, what about the white people? Most of the white families in America are telling you to go get an education to work for their company. That owner of that company will probably not have an education themselves. Some people on this podcast are going to need proof. Okay, here's your proof. Steve Jobs didn't have an education. Mark Zuckerberg, no education. Our billionaires, both of them, no education. But you got to go to school to work for any one of them, period. You as a black person have to have a degree to work for them, even though they didn't go to school. The man who got the iPhone do not have an education. He did not get an education. Okay? Trump is an example I want to set for people who don't understand how this whole thing plays out. Even though Trump don't got an education, and we know that he don't have an education, he had no problem with putting his sons and his daughters in position that will run your life. His sons and daughters are in position to run your life. At 29 and 26 years old, they're running your life. That's the unseen hand. He passed on something right away. He didn't even wait. He didn't wait till his second term and say, I'm going to bring my daughter in. I think she's been around me 4 years to understand. No, he brought his kids in the first date. Daughter in there, Ivanka, son in there doing shit. They all got in there. Now, what education? Somebody post on there if one of Trump's kids got education. If you're a Trump supporter and you like them, find the education of one of those kids and let's see what education they really got. That's the unseen hand. Black people, black folk, blood, Crip, you niggas out there that's running around here shooting up each other over some dope still. The unseen hand got you doing that. The hand you don't see. It's an unseen hand. There's God's hand and there's an unseen hand. Not the same thing. God's hand cover you, bless you, move you in directions. The unseen hand keeps you in the direction of lostness. Yeah, I said it. I don't have education. Lostness. Lostness. Let's get this straight, folks. A lot of things plague our communities and everything. And even though I may speak right on this podcast, I might be spelling words wrong. I get that all the time. Hey, you spelled this word wrong. You said this wrong. And hey, I'm glad you noticed. But can you notice where I'm trying to get to? Can you notice that there's something else going on other than us? And there's an unseen hand. That's not God's hand. Don't get it twisted. Don't get that cross-faded. Let's separate that. God's hand is one thing. The unseen hand is your government and politician and judges and so on and so on, and shooby dooby dooby, however you want to put it. I want y'all to let that sink in for a minute so y'all can get why these podcasts start. I haven't just got this way. I've been this way. I had a lot of things that I had to get unsecure about so that I could start talking about it. I didn't like to hear my voice for a long time, but I'm cool with my voice now. So now I can speak now. And it's not no rhetoric. It's not no bullshit. I'm talking to the people. And all I want y'all to do is recognize a problem when you see one. Now, if you know the song from Biggie, recognize a real dumb when you see one, but then recognize a real problem when you see one. And say something about it. We are viable people. We are the ones that putting the billions into other people's hands so they can send their billions home to their family. Hair alone is $1 billion industry. And who's buying the most hair? Black women. Education is $1 billion industry. Who's getting the most education? Black women. That's a fact because most white women are having things passed on to them. Most white men are having things passed down to them. You know, the presidency was even passed down to George Bush from his daddy. Y'all don't see it? I'm trying to tell you, it's real business. But Obama didn't have anybody to pass it down to. So he didn't pass it down. But he passed down some political understanding to his kids. But I doubt if one of his kids grew up and be a president because he's cut from a different cloth. And that president from that cloth may put everything right. If one of those kids become president, they might have it right. Because, see, they didn't expect Kennedy to do what he did. Kennedy got killed because he came from the cloth that he was cut from was a thievery. They were thieves. The Kennedy were thieves. They stole money. They did a lot of, his daddy stole a lot of things. He ran liquor. He was an outlaw. So when he gave it to his son, he thought his son was going to follow their outlaw ways. His son said, "Nah, I'm going to shut down the mafia." Well, the mafia is how his daddy made most of his money. He got killed. Little known fact. That's what I'm going to talk about on Black History. I'm going to talk about how Kennedy got killed on Black History. We need to talk about that. And with that said, I'm going to wrap this up with y'all, bro. A lot of people are not going to say, well, I'm going to get my education anyway. That's fine. I'm not telling you not to get an education. What I am telling you is there is a miseducation about education. And if you're sitting around listening to this here and you say, yeah, I got a degree in sociology, but I'm working over here as a manager at Target, unseen hand, that's all I'm going to say. We need to use more commonality, common sense, and a more commonality approach to life. That's what got me through. I'm actually doing better than most people who went to school and got a degree and can hang it on a wall, but they only have 2 walls to hang on. I accomplish everything with my own mind, and I have plenty of walls to hang accomplishments on. And I'm not bragging, but I just didn't listen to what everybody told me to do or follow the path most traveled. I went somewhere else, and I found out I didn't need no education at all. Cum laude special ed, y'all. Give me a hand. Cum laude. Thank you. Okay. Let's see if my people can follow directions right now, though. I'm about to wrap it up. Like and share, man. Click, leave your comments. You think you need education and everybody in your family will get education because I'm a punk ass nigga? Say it. Comment. I want people to read the difference between what we post, so we can open the dialogue open, have the dialogue open. You know what I'm saying? Like and share. Click. Won't hurt nobody. I won't be mad. Say whatever you feel. Continue to say how you feel. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the energy that y'all giving me so far. But comment on the video. I'm not asking you because I need likes or nothing like that. I'm just trying to see what people are thinking. And most people are contacting me directly, and it's not helping. I'm the preacher. I don't want to hear from the choir. But anyway, y'all have a blessed day. And I'll be back with another podcast of Where Are We Going? I love you and good night.